All right, we have Gabriela Martinez in the room with us. She's from the city of Santa Clarita, and you have a program that I'm envious of, Parenting for Prevention, and it's a citywide initiative. It's designed to support parents and caregivers in guiding their children towards a healthy, drug-free. Man, you really take it on the mountain, aren't you? Right?
Yes.
But
Thank you for having me this morning. I'm very excited. And yeah, the Parenting for Prevention program is a branch of our Define SCV program or Drug Free Youth program. And this program is geared towards parents to help them have the resources and all the information they need to have those tough, difficult conversations regarding drug use. Now, we're seeing a huge change and in this new generation with social media.
yeah.
They have access to a lot, and the peer pressure for drug use starts at about 8, 9 years old. So what we want to do as a team, the Define SEV team, we want to make sure that parents have the tools and resources to be able to have those tough conversations. And upcoming, we have a meeting that's happening very soon. It's happening at one of our local high schools on January 27th from 5:30 to 7:30. And this is a beautiful platform for parents to have the opportunity to speak to a representative from Clear Behavioral Health and ask those questions. And it's a beautiful platform for parents to have that conversation.
Now, I want to back up. You said that statistically, it's 8 to 9 that this use starts.
Well, guess what? We just recently launched our Parenting for Prevention podcast, and one of our local experts from the sheriff's station here in Santa Clarita, he mentioned that, and I thought it was very interesting. 8 to 9 years old, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, I can't imagine an 8 or 9 year old just high off of something, off of whatever.
That's very dangerous
yeah.
and alarming, and I think that that's the reason why we need to start sharing these type of conversations and having them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But part of it, I'm going to get old on you for a second.
Oh
okay?
no! Here we
Please
go. Here
don't.
we
Actually,
go.
I can't do it for a second. I got to do it for the rest of my life. But part of that is teaching kids their value, right? What their
Yeah.
value is, that they don't have to impress somebody else. They don't have to go along with the flow, and teaching them truly what their value is to themselves and to their family and that kind of stuff. Fitting in doesn't always make it okay.
And that's very interesting that you mentioned that, because Dr. Malika from one of our local schools here, she mentions that exactly, teaching confidence, teaching believing in yourself and following your intuition. That's something that's very hard to do, but you could only do that having these conversations with your children and having a beautiful relationship with them. And on our podcast, the Parenting for Prevention podcast, available on the City of Santa Clarita page on social media,
Nice plugs.
Facebook, Instagram, and all that jazz. Parents are able to access that information quickly at a click of a button. So what we're trying to do now is that we're seeing that parents don't want to go to these meetings, or they don't have the time. Many of these parents, they unfortunately have 2 jobs. They're so busy. So we need to meet them where they're at. Therefore, thus came the Parenting for Prevention podcast. And it's been doing so well, more than 100,000 views on
Oh,
all of
very
our different
good.
platforms. And we want to share that with the world.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because another thing I think, in addition to like parents being so busy, is that kind of idea of like, oh, well, it's not my kid. I don't need it. My kid is
No,
not the
we hear
troubled
that all the
kid.
time.
So I don't need to worry about that, only to realize, oh, my kid is actually doing that same stuff. Or they're kind of embarrassed where they're thinking, oh, I know that's my kid, but, I feel like an awful parent. I'm not doing things correctly. And so I think that podcast is a really great resource,
Yeah.
a great idea that, somebody can just tune in and start listening to that, and just, they don't have to. They can almost do it discreetly, anonymously.
And that's exactly
you know?
what we wanted to do. And we started to see and notice that before, the platform was a parent resource symposium. And during those meetings, we started to see the decrease in attendance. And we thought, what could we possibly do? Bam, the podcast came about, and it's a year-long campaign. It's a year-long program. So we're continuously inviting new guests, speakers, experts in this topic to help and reach out to our community.
Yeah, awesome.
No,
Awesome.
it's an ongoing, continual thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
We were doing the same thing at the district, and you're right. You see them; they'll come to the first 2, and then they start to drop off a little bit. That's what we actually started. A while back, we started putting the board meetings up on YouTube. so that the people can,
Nice.
if you're home cooking, you can go ahead and take the iPad and just stick it right there, and you can watch the meeting or listen to the meeting as you're taking care of the
Yeah,
kids
and
and
something
stuff.
that I wanted to add to this too is that we also noticed that there were a lot of Spanish speakers. So now the podcast is also available in Spanish. We have Spanish speaking guest speakers, and now that we have a platform on social media at Ciudad de Santa Clarita, they're able to tune in their language. And so we've seen a huge increase on our following on social media as well. And it's been so nice to see that we're catering to all of our community members.
Yeah, and that's it. The only thing that I say when you isolate yourself like that, sometimes you think you're the only one that's having that problem. You think you're the one of a very small group. But when we used to do the bigger groups over at the Hyatt, we'd have hundreds of people in the room, and people got to understand that. Wait a minute, it's not just my daughter, it's not just my son. Look, she's having the same problem. He's having the same problem. They're having the
Community.
same problem.
They
Yeah.
find a community.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want to do this upcoming Monday, January 27th, from 5:30 to 7:30 at Golden Valley High School. From 5:30 to 6:30, there will be a resource fair. We're bringing all of the different organizations together to come and share resources during that first hour. From 6:30 to 7:30, we have a representative from Clear Behavioral Health.
Right.
Talking about topics of how to have those difficult conversations with your children. So everyone's invited to come to the parent meeting happening on January 27th, Golden Valley High School, 5:30 to 7:30.
Now, I want to go over why is it difficult? Because when you think like, oh, I'm the parent, I should be already completely involved in that kid's life. I
We need
should.
an hour for that, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, But why? Just in a nutshell, why is it difficult to bring up that topic and speak about it with your kids?
I'm not an expert in the topic, but from what the behavioral specialist has mentioned is that parents are not involved in their children's life anymore. They're so
afraid,
busy.
but
They're
they're
so
afraid
busy. And
too.
also they're disconnected with what's happening. There's a lot going on social media platforms that they don't know about. And it's important for them to get involved, just asking simple questions. I don't have a child, but I'm just having those 15-minute talks, right, on a daily basis, and learning from these experts via the platforms on social media has been so nice to see what they think about this. It's just taking some time out of your day to talk to your child. How was your day? And it goes a long way, and it's insane, but it's just making time to talk to your child about what's happening in their life.
Oh man, it seems like the answer to all relationships is just communication.
But you think about it. You're right. The statistic is that parents spend less than 8 minutes a day in a serious conversation with their kids, and your kids are spending 8 hours a day with their friends and getting information that doesn't help them. I came, and you're going to giggle, I know, but I came from a large Italian family, and nothing was sacred. Let's just put it that way. Everything was talked about, no matter where you were at and what was going on. But I think parents are afraid today too, because when I hear them in some of these smaller groups, they're afraid of what they might hear.
Oh.
They're afraid of where the kid might already be into, and then what do I do? Then I'm a failure. Well, no, let's not go down that road. Let's go down the road of how do we help you then? How do we help you, and how do we help you get your child back away from that?
And it's important for our community to know that we have a strong network of organizations ready to help them out. And what's really awesome that on our Define SCV webpage, we have a huge list of all the different organizations available for them to reach out and gain some information about drug use and what's going on, current trends and whatnot.
Awesome. So we've been talking to Gabriela Martinez from the city of Santa Clarita, talking about the Parenting for Prevention initiative that they have going on, and give us a rundown, what's coming up, and then where people can find the podcast as well.
For sure. Everyone is invited to the Parenting for Prevention meeting coming up on Monday, January 27th at Golden Valley High School from 5:30 to 7:30. From 5:30 to 6:30, there will be a resource fair. From 6:30 to 7:30, there will be a representative from Clear Behavioral Health talking about how to talk to your children about drug use and whatnot. All this information is available on our social media platforms at City of Santa Clarita on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, also at Ciudad de Santa Clarita in Spanish on Facebook and Instagram. thank you for this space.
All right. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming in.
Well, you're listening to Trending SCV here at KHTS, AM 1220, FM 98.1, your hometown station's morning show. Be back with you in just a little bit.